Hi everyone, welcome in. This is Julie Max. I'm the Maine Stamper. I am here on Monday night at 8 o'clock for your weekly card class from Maine. So the clock here is sneaking up on me. It's actually 8:01. So welcome in. Please say hi as you're jumping on. If you're watching replay, also I would love to know that you're watching replay. Whenever you guys are live with me though, I gauge your comments and your hellos to say, hey, guess what? You're live, you're in the right place, and we can hear you and see you. That's always the most exciting thing because the tech can be really difficult. And I am actually tripping over my dog who's sleeping on the floor in my craft room today. So that is what we got going on right now in the craft room. So I'm trying to make sure that I am live. I don't see myself live. Yes, I think I do see myself live. Okay. Looks like there's a couple of people watching. Hi, Lori. Thanks for saying hi. I appreciate it. I know there is a lag in the Facebook world. So what I'm saying is really like 30 to 60 seconds ago from what I said live to what you're hearing. So I appreciate you letting me know we're good. Okay, so tonight's class, we are doing something a little different. We're at the end of April. Can you believe it? Okay, I got my little heater on in the background here because it's cold. It's a cold and rainy day, but it is April. We are in spring. It should be good, right? But anyway, we are reaching the end of the annual catalog with Stampin' Up. And whenever we reach the end of a catalog, it's really difficult to show supplies and product that hasn't already like sold out. And there's just such a fine line. It's really difficult. So tonight I'm focusing on the Happy Labels bundle. Now this is a non-image stamp, so it's all sentiments. Has amazing punch that goes with it. And we're really focusing on designer series paper. So check out this card. This is our first card that we're going to be making. So this is kind of like my a quilt card, if you will. And then again, we're using designer paper. So we're really focusing on the sentiment stamping. And this is going to be our last card. So these are the cards. They show some unique ways to use some designer series paper, which is really fun. And I always like to find something that I can share with you that will inspire you, and maybe you'll go, oh wow, I gotta try that. So I always love when you guys find something that is in here. Hi Jackie, that's so awesome. Thank you for saying I'm live and clear. I appreciate that. And hi Patty, it's great to see you. All right, so we're gonna get over to my workspace because we got stuff to talk about as always, right? So let me transition over, make sure we're good. All right, Happy Labels. This is in the spring catalog. Now this will carry over into the new annual catalog. It is a bundle now for another week, basically. So anything that's a bundle now in the spring catalog will not be a bundle in the annual catalog if it carries over. So in the future, you'll buy this Labels stamp set and the punch. This is one of those fun builder punches. This is an amazing punch, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about how these work. This is the last week that you can get it as a bundle, so I really wanted to focus on it. Again, my cards today have sentiments from the stamp set. Obviously, we're using the Labels punch in some different ways, which is really awesome. And so the Labels punch, love it. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the card kits. Okay, so card kits, these are the 3 cards that we're making tonight. These are what the card kits will look like if you want to get them in the mail this week. Lots of stuff in them. There's always, I jam these full. So you're getting 2 of each card. So you'll have the supplies to make 2 of each card. So you get 2 card bases for each. We'll go through all of these individually, but these are some nice hefty card kits. I put a lot of layers and a lot of love into my cards. So, and you can too. You can do the same thing at home with these card kits. Now, how do you get these card kits? You may be wondering. If you're new, I say that all you have to do is place an order with my host code this week. A $35 order in my online store with host code XQ6KHT4A will get you the card kits for free. And I'm just going to pop them in the mail to you. And you'll also get an email PDF tutorial with pictures that you can print and save. If you spend $50, you're getting my card kits and the free embellishment. I always send you the embellishment that I'm using on my cards. And this may be kind of unusual. You're like, wow, sea glass, like faux sea glass. There's 3 colors here. This may be easier to see. 3 colors here, right? You would look at these and go, this does not look like anything that I would use on these cards. I made it work though. I always can make things work. It's so funny. So yes, there's like a mint color, kind of a green, a pale green color, and a clear color. So on my first card, I'm just going to point these out really quickly. Here is the mint color, and it works kind of in with a soft succulent and evening evergreen. So I've got them just right here. And on the green card, I used the green ones. So these ones work really well with this card. And on this card, and I can see that one of them has already falling off here. Needs a little extra adhesive and love. I think I popped it off when I shifted my cards around. This one just has the clear ones. This one is really hard to see. It's more of a textural thing for the person that receives the card rather than a visual thing, because they really do kind of blend in here. But believe it or not, these little faux sea glass shapes will work on these cards. So this is my my freebie here with a $50 order. And of course, if your order is over $150, I don't have it written down here, but you're going to be your own host. Don't use a code, because then you can get Stampin' rewards as well. So that's how you get the card kits for this week's class. Now, what I love about these builder punches is there's channels in here that you can do 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch increments. And there's 2 ends. Might be easier to see. No, it's probably not going to be easy to see at all. The light hits this so funny. But there are 2 ends here. So there's 2 choices of the ends. And you have 3 choices in sizes. And the best part is they don't have to be, let's see if I find an old punch that I have. Here's an older punch. This was the washi tape punch, in case anybody's playing along. So this punch right here is going to punch out a sentiment exactly this size. Like, you can't make this cannot be any longer than this. This is not going to work on these long sentiments that are in this stamp set, right? But with the pick-a-punch, which there are several in Stampin' Up catalogs, you can choose whatever size you want. You can make them longer, shorter, and we're going to talk about how you decide how long they should be per your sentiment here as we do this tonight. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm terrible at flagging the ends of sentiments. And that's why a lot of times you'll see me do that little slanted, this little slant here where I kind of just do the angle to cut around my sentiment. And even here I kind of messed up and did it crooked. But so these flag things are ridiculous. Like, I cannot trim in to save my life. It's always crooked. It's always a little bit wonky. So the flagging is not fun. The fussy cutting flagging, not good at that. But with the pick-a-punch and any of these kinds of punches that they have, you can just really create a fun little, very decorative, very neat, very simple sentiment piece here. So this is what I love about these punches. So we are going to kind of talk about, again, so the size here. I had this out to talk about this and I already forgot. This is your double oval, right? So this is the size. So obviously you've got your oval. The yay would work. The thank you would work. The hello would work. But anything else is just going to be too big. You might be able to squeeze in just a note. And I wanted to share with you really quickly the Scenic Garden. We're changing gears for just a second. I still have 2 of these classes available. So yesterday I announced that I have some Scenic Garden stamp sets. These are brand new. Well, yours will be brand new. Mine's already mounted. But these are clear stamp sets, clean stamp sets, and there's 5 images in here. So there is the stone path, the hollyhocks, the garden gate, the bench, and then the little potted plants. So I have a set number of these that are unused, brand new, and I'm offering them as a class with a set of 4 cards. So these are the 4 cards that you're getting. So you're going to be doing the bench card with this color. You're going to be doing the gate card. And again, you're going to get everything that is embossed here. You're going to get all these little punch pieces. You'll have to do your own sentiments in here, so you'll just have to look for small sentiments that you have in your craft room. We're doing this one. Again, you're going to get an embossed piece. You're going to get these die cut pieces that you're going to stamp and color. And then we've got this one. You'll get these die cut pieces again. You'll get the texture paper, all that good stuff. So there are 4 cards that you're going to use, 4 of these stamps. So the stamp set, 4 cards, shipped to you, $30. I have 2 left. So the first 2 people that tell me that they still want this class are going to get it, and everyone else is going to miss out. So if you're interested in getting the stamp set, you don't have it yet, you want to take the class with me, it's $30 for the stamp set and the 4 card kits. And if you just want the PDF tutorials, I'm selling those for $12. So I've had a couple of people take me up on just getting the tutorials for $12 because they already have the stamp set, and that's awesome because it's not one to miss. That was a celebration host, and it was not the easiest one to get hold of. You had to have $300 in either merchandise that you purchased, or you had to have a party. So there was a very short window to get those things in. So now we're going to jump into the card kits here. So our very first card kit, we're kind of doing something really fun. This is my quilt card. I'm calling it a quilt card. So you can kind of see on here, I've got some really fun designer series paper, and then I also have an embossed piece on the back end. So you're getting 2 card bases, and I'm going to slide those apart. You're getting your embossed pieces. This is the quarter foil embossing folder, which is really fantastic. It's been on back order for so much of the time. Now, I'm not punching the sentiment pieces for you. You're going to have to punch these yourself or flag them or do whatever you like. But I'm going to separate these out really quickly so that I can create a card with you. You're going to get a little bit of twine here for a cute little bow. And we're going to put this one together. Now, these are really quite simple cards tonight too. So not going to take up too much time. So when you get your designer series paper, I just want to point out this paper, first of all, is adorable. Lots of fun, bright patterns in this. And this is a great card that you can do, you know, any of your designer papers that you have a ton of bright, fun ones. This is called Lovely in Linen. I believe this one may be on sale for like $4 and change. I could be wrong. But one of the designer papers that I was going to use tonight, I was like, wow, that's really inexpensive. Pack of 12 by 12 designer paper. All right, so when I send you your papers, you're going to get 1 by 2s. So you're going to get one of each design, basically. Now, there's going to be front and back. So you can see right here, there's 2 blue ones, but you're going to be using the front side and the back side. And you're going to get them in 1 by 2s. You're going to have to cut them into 1 by 1s. It's going to be easier for you to do that and sort them out that way rather than me send you all of these little, and I have them for just 1 card right now, all of these individual little 1 by 1s, because these are all 1 by 1s. And there's a lot of patterns here. So if you get them at home, cut these in half, use your paper trimmer, and just cut them 1 inch, so you've got 2 1 inches. Then you can set them aside in piles, and you can be like, I have 2 of these, and that way you're going to go through them and you're going to figure out how you want to make your little quilt. So I'm just going to set those aside for right now, and we're going to pull out the ones that we're actually going to be using. Now I'm going to build my quilt on this white piece of paper. It's a lot easier to do it this way and then mount it on the paper that's going to show, rather than try to like make this work on another paper. That's just how I like to do things. I like to make them as simple as possible. So what you're going to do is you're going to play. This is paper play. Now again, these are all 1 by 1s. However, I want to point out that sometimes my cutting 1 by 1 seems like it's longer on one end than the other. So definitely play around with these a little bit to whatever makes sense. And if you have some overhang, you're going to have to kind of correct the overhang. But we're basically doing some rows here. We're going to have green, blue, like this pale papaya color, and a little bit of red in here too. And by paper play, you're basically just playing with paper, right? So you're deciding like, okay, I want maybe a blue one down here. And you don't want to put things together that are going to be very similar, right? So kind of move your greens around. So I got 2 dark green ones here. I might move this green one up. This is like the most fun part of this quilted card. You're basically deciding how you want your pattern to go. Now, once you're happy with your pattern, right, you've got like, okay, that looks good, and it looks totally different from this one. So as you make 2 cards, your quilted pattern, if you like the same design, I could have went, okay, this one's going to go here, this one's going to go here, but you can definitely change it up. And that's the fun part about playing with paper. Now, once you have it figured out where you want it, we're going to put it on this white paper. I will recommend glue every time because I like the glue. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put a little row of glue across the top. And we're basically coming down about 1 inch and we're hitting the middle. And we're going to glue this white paper rather than these individual sheets because it's going to be easier to set them on here and not have to pick up each one of these things and glue them. And I've already made a mess of my pile over here. If you're paying attention, my pile got kind of messy. So we're just going to put them on here. It's so much easier that way. That is my handy tip. Now, if they overlap a little bit, you want to just kind of snug them up. And if they go off the paper, we'll trim it later. And then we're going to repeat the process. We're going to just put another row of glue across, down about 1 inch across, and then kind of hit the middle. And we're going to continue to put our little papers on here. Now, I have never ever, I'm not a sewer, I don't have the skill to sew. I am a great paper crafter, but I will be the first person to tell you I can't sew a straight line. I don't know how to use a sewing machine. Sad but true, right? But I have come from a wonderful and amazing family of quilters. And this is as close as I can ever get to quilting, I think. So I'm just going to play with my pretty designer paper and pretend that I'm quilting away. And I just love this little look here that you can create with fun patterns. Now, definitely if you're looking through your paper packs and you're wondering what kind of paper is going to work best, I mean, look at the overall designs. You want to be able to see some great images on each one. These are tiny papers, right? They're like 1x1s. So you want to be able to see enough images that it's going to show up in this little tiny 1x1 format. And you want them to be a nice variety of colors so that they're not, I mean, it would look okay, right, if you did a whole bunch of blues or a whole bunch of greens or, you know, monotone colors. But when you have this patchwork look, this is just really cool. So this is my finished quilt. Look, I just quilted. Isn't that awesome? Now, if I flip it over, it's not horribly, I feel like this one's just a little bit hanging over, but it's not too bad. And I'm not really going to worry too much about making that even more perfect. So it's just going to come on here. Now we're going to, again, we're using the pale papaya. So it's bringing out some of the colors of our quilt. So as you're looking for matching cardstock, just, you know, find something that goes really nice with whatever you've got going on. And that's just how simple it is to do that. Now we have a sweet sorbet cardstock, and we're just going to put this quilted, see how I moved that in there? This quilted quarter foil embossed piece right on top. So we're doing tone on tone, but we're giving the card front a really great amount of texture. And next we're going to put this on with some dimensionals. So we're going to grab some out. I just have to find my stash here. And we're going to pop some dimensionals on here. And this is going to be so awesome. And, you know, some days I'm using a lot. Some days I'm using not so many. Today I'm kind of using a good amount. So we're just going to pop the backs off of these before we put this down. A lot of them today, right? All right, so this is just going to, and now this is the fun part too. So you can decide, because none of these have an orientation. That's something else. If you're doing something with orientation, you have to figure out how your orientation is going to be. Once you know which way you want up and down, go ahead and put that on your card. And I put it a little bit farther over to the left because I want my sentiment to kind of come off and be more visible here on this side. Now this is my sentiment piece, and I'm going to bring in some sweet sorbet ink, and I've got I just want to hug you. Now how perfect is a quilt card for the sentiment? I just want to hug you, because I feel like quilts are like hugs, right? Like there's a lot of love in a quilt, and we're just putting a lot of love into our cards. So I just want to hug you, I think, is perfect. Now, how did I figure out how big I wanted my paper to be, and in regards to the punch? So what I did was I actually punched one first. When you have a new punch, let me see if I can find a scrap paper. I didn't really plan this out very well, right? All right, so when you have a punch and you're wondering how much is going to cut off, so just go ahead and choose, you know, slide in to the punch here. You can also look at it from the back just to see what is going to punch. So here's my punch, right? So this little leftover piece right here, I measured it. It's like 1/8 of an inch, basically. Bring in my ruler here, and we're doing math today. We're doing a little math. So this is like 1/8 of an inch right here. So I know that if I want to have something that's going to be long enough to center my sentiment on and have a little bit of room on either side, I am basically taking a measurement of my stamp. So I'm saying this probably is good at 3 inches for the sentiment piece. And then I want to add on 1/8 of an inch on either end, which means 1/4 of an inch. So this should be 3 1/4. Pretty sure that's what I decided for this paper for this one. And it is, it's 3 1/4. So, and there are 2 ways to do it, but I feel like the best way is to punch both ends and then stamp. And I think I chose to use a small one. So now this is an 1 inch wide paper, so you can see that it's just going to fill the channel here. If it was shorter, it would go into these little grooves where you could do 3/4 and 1/2 inch. So we're doing 1 inch. I'm going to slide it all the way back in until I feel it hit the back, and you can flip it over again and you can see it on the side and punch. Now you could stamp it and then punch the other end, but I'm just going to punch both ends at the same time. And I'm going to create this really awesome little, it looks kind of like our washi punch from earlier, but I have the ability to make this as long as I want it to. That's where this is magical. You can make these as long as you want them to be. I mean, you could make them long enough to put on a bookmarker, really. All right, so I just want to hug you, stamping this in Sweet Sorbet ink right here in the middle. And there it is. And look, it's like the perfect little bit left over on either side. So I really love that. I'm going to move my stamp out of the way and we'll clean that up later. Now my next tip for you is, because this is going to overhang and this piece right here with the quilt has some dimension to it, we're going to put a dimensional down here on this red right off of the quilt area, and right where it's going to now hit, the end of this paper is going to hit the dimensional, and the glue, I'm going to put the glue on this end over here. So the glue is going to come on my quilted piece, and it's just that simple. So we're just going to line this up a little bit on here. And obviously we are covering up a little bit of the quilt, but if you do it just right, you still see the 4 patterns really that it might affect. You can still see tops and bottoms of those. Now I have a little twine here somewhere. We're going to make a nice little bow. And this twine really reminded me of the little knots that go into the quilts as well, like in the center of the quilts to hold the batting and the material and all that good stuff. I have quilts. My grandma made me a quilt and my mom made me a quilt. And they are fabulous. Again, I am not a quilter. So I am just a paper crafter trying to be a quilter. That's what I'm doing today. So a nice little twine bow there with a glue dot. And the last thing we're going to put onto this card are some of these nice little, again, sea glass. Right now, you could obviously use anything. You could use some different kinds of embellishments that, you know, you might think, wow, that would look way more awesome. I don't like them there. I'm going to put them up here. I'm going to put them up here. They do need to show up a little bit. But I happen to have sea glass embellishments in my room. I think I meant to use these for the turtle card kits and then I forgot. So I had a whole bunch of these sea glass ones and I wanted to see if I could make them work. Now they don't really show up so well, but again, they add a little bit of texture there. So there it is, card number 1 in the books. And of course you can see from both of those quilt sections, they're totally different. All right, hi Michelle, I see Michelle, interesting cards for sure. Hi Linda, hi Jess. That's awesome. And I love the quilted look too. I think this is just a really cool effect. And it's just super easy to do. Now, again, if you wanted to do it even bigger, you could measure out your paper and do 4 by 6 and really fill up the front of the card. So just keep in mind if you're using 1 by 1 squares, how big your card front is. And there we go. I just want to hug you. Card number 1 is done. All right, we're going to move on to our next card. This one has a little bit more of a masculine theme to it, I think. It's the greens, right? It's the olive green, it's the grays. But funnily enough, right, you might look at this and think, it's kind of masculine. This is actually the Happy Forest Friends Designer Series paper. This actually has like mushroom patterns in it. It's got forest friends. Check out the forest friends here, right? These are so cute. So this more masculine looking card is the reverse side of these fun, adorable little like kid type prints, right? So again, we're using some 1-inch strips of designer paper and we're just using the very neutral sections of it to create this card. So your card kit's going to have all kinds of good stuff in it, just as before, right? You get 2 envelopes, you get 2 card bases, and I'll set some of these things aside because we don't need them all out right now. All right, you're getting some gray twine this time. So there's a little bit of gray twine. This will be our sentiment piece. So you can see that it's a little bit narrower. This time we're going with the 3/4 inch wide. So we just need one of those. You're getting some die cuts. And these are the stylish shapes. Now I used, there's stitching on them too, which I think is really cool. But I used squares instead of circles because I feel like squares are a little bit more masculine because they have harder, you know, like sides and corners and edges and what have you. I feel like circles give a card a little bit more of a feminine look. So I went with squares, and that's why I did that. I felt like that was kind of more of a masculine look. Now we're going to go ahead and separate our designer paper because we need one of each. We've got 3 patterns here. We've got some gray granite, and we've got a piece of white as well. So that's what makes up our card kit here for our next card. Let me move some of my scrappies out of the way. And again, same situation. When we decide how long we need our paper for our sentiment here. So if I lay this kind of next to it, you can see it's just a little bit longer. It doesn't want to lay flat because of the bow here, but it's just a little bit longer, this paper, than the sentiment once it's punched. So again, I measured my sentiment. There's no one like you. So I measured it out. I added 1/4 of an inch so that I could punch this. And that is the, so that's how easy it is really to decide how long you want your paper to be if you're trying to figure that out with any of your sentiments. So basically just measure how long they are and then add 1/4 of an inch for these punches. Okay, let's put this card together. We are going to do a little background stamping. So you're going to see that you've got your card base, you've got a white layer, and then you've got this layer right here, which looks completely different. I love to use sentiments for backgrounds. I think that that is just a really great way to do, have some kind of, not imagery, but just something that's different so that you can kind of just see some words in the background here. So I've got Life is Better with You, and I thought it went kind of well with There's No One Like You for stamps. I'm going to bring in a scrap paper, and we're going to bring in, so we're doing tone on tone. We've got gray granite here, and we're just going to start, and I'm going to show you how. You might think, oh wow, it's going to take forever to put this sentiment all across your paper. It's really not, and I never start quite like all the way on. I start off and I go from there. So you're going to see that I'm going to just kind of fill in my line here. It doesn't have to be perfect either, right? So I'm filling in my line, and now I'm going to start another one over here, and I'm going to come over this way and then kind of come this way. So here's 2 rows already, and that's what I'm doing. And eventually I'm going to put in a few that are like you could read almost the entire thing. And I'm just going to start in different areas, going on and off my paper. Maybe you want like a longer one here. And you just decide how much you want to be on there. I'm going to do a full one here. Life is better with you. And then life. Life fits on the other end there. I'm going to do with you here, and then do life is better with. So you can see just how easy it is to just kind of mix this up a little bit, come down through. This is a nice scripty font too, which just makes it look really old-fashioned, like, right? Very few people write in scripty anymore. And I'm just going to touch the bottom of that so that kind of comes off. So there it is, done. It was that simple to just fill up this paper, and now it's a great background paper, and I love doing that with sentiment stamps. So keep that in mind if you're trying to put something on your card and you're just, it needs something, but you don't want to go too much over the top. Tone on tone is a great way to go, and then some background stamping. I'm actually going to bring in my blender brush. I forgot this part, and I'm just going to come down in and kind of antique my paper a little bit. I'm just going to make some of it. Now we see mostly the outside edges of this, so I'm not maybe going to even do like every little section. So you can see here that it's just kind of giving it a little bit of wear. And if you really wanted to antique it, of course you could rip it up a little bit, rip the edges and such, but just like that, just to change it up a little bit. I love the blender brushes. So that was gray granite, so all tone on tone for that one. All right, let's put our layers together here, because we are just, there's really not, again, these are simple cards. They're not really difficult when you're not working with images that you have to color, and you're not die cutting a ton of things, right? There's no die cutting today. Well, I did some die cutting for you, but technically, you know, you get these card kits, you're not die cutting either. You are just assembling and stamping, and that makes for some really quick cards. So here's the bones of this one. I just love these colors together. I just think it's beautiful. And we're going to bring in our designer paper, and we've got, again, some fun patterns on one side, but we're really focusing on the grays and the greens. And I really like this this particular order, so I'm not going to change it up any. And then I kind of, as you can see from my sample card here, I've got this one sideways. Now, if you're not a sideways kind of person, if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to have everything straight it has to have all right angles or what have you, right? You can definitely do that too. So you can kind of put it on here just like that. You don't have to, it doesn't have to have any crooked sections to it. However, I just want to point out that some people have a hard time doing straight, and sometimes I have a hard time doing straight. So when you get the chance to make it crooked and artistic at the same time, it's kind of a no-brainer. You're like, heck yeah, I'll just, you know, make it that a little crooked, and then it's part of the design and you don't have to worry about being so perfect. So I'm gonna just put this one at a little bit of an angle. That's all I'm doing for this first one. The gray one's going down at an angle. It's that simple. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my next one here. And he's going to be kind of straight. He's going to be right there like so. And that gives me some right before I put the square on, right? We can see all kinds of letters here off to the side. Some of that great, some shading there that we did. And again, this one's going to just come over here. But you can put these on however you like. I do like this. It's almost, if you think of it kind of like as an N, it's almost like an N here, right? All right, dimensionals please for the back of our die cut. Again, it says a square on purpose because I thought it would look better. I think I'm going to put one in the middle. I'm being kind of heavy-handed tonight with the dimensionals. And we're going to just pop these all off of here. And then this is just going to go on. Now again, there's no orientation. This is from the designer paper, the color families. This is the neutrals. I'm going to actually leave this over a little bit farther this way. I think this one's going to be a little bit nice. Oh, you know what? I know why this shows up better. I had to re-ink. I had to re-ink my gray granite pad. And here's the difference of the before and after. So when I did my sponging the first time, it was, I hardly had any sponge coming out. So if you can see the difference between how faint these letters are to how much darker they are, it's because I had to re-ink my, my gray granite in the middle of the day here. So always get those re-inkers when you get your ink pad. You never know when you're going to run out, you know, when your ink might be a little bit dry. Now for this one, I am using, trying to see if you can tell in the light here. I'm going to use this one that has more of a, like, it looks like a ticket kind of an edge to it. This one is more scalloped. So this one to me is more feminine. This one's more masculine. And again, we are going to fit our paper into the channel. So it's going to go, instead of being on the top channel, it's going to go the next one down, because this is going to actually be 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm just going to put it back in there so you can see that it's a larger part that kind of punches out. I'm going to put this in the channel all the way back, and here is my little ticket. Looks like, kind of like a little ticket to me. So again, little scrappies there. We're going to stamp an old olive, There's No One Like You, which is here. And you can decide if one side looks better than the other. We'll give it a go here on this side first. And that's slightly crooked. Let's try one more time. You get 2 shots at this. We'll try one more time. And then we'll decide, yeah, the second one's better. We're going to go with the second one. So we're going to put that on there. Aren't these greens and grays so pretty together? Oh my goodness, I love them. Okay, same thing applies. However, I wanted to share with you, this one actually kind of needs 2 dimensionals here and then one over here, because I put the, I gotta put the twine on here before I get crazy with my sentiment. Let's not get out of step here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of swoosh up my twine here underneath my sentiment. So I'm going to start with a couple of glue dots. And I'm going to put these guys kind of next to each other here, like a little pair of eyes peeking out, right? So in theory, this will cover over. This will be where my sentiment's going to be, but I'm going to use it to catch the ends of my string here. And I'm going to kind of, it kind of tends to curl on its own, but I'm going to just use these glue dots to catch it wherever I can. And you're just going to make a random swooshy pattern, right? So wherever that works out for you. This one kind of doubled up over onto itself. It's kind of funny how that works out, but yeah. So see if I can get that to come back on there. There we go. So just random patterns there for that little bit of twine. And like I said, I'm going to put a dimensional here. Make sure I got the right side. Now I look at them and they both look really crooked to me. This one looks a little bit better. All right, one here, and we're going to double decker the other end. So when you add two dimensionals, what you want to do is you want to make sure you take the backing off so it's sticky, and then put another dimensional right on top. And then when you take the backing off, and then this backing off, so I've got two dimensionals here, one here, and I'm going to put them right on here like so. And now it's more flat across because I've lifted this up, and then this is lifted up underneath, so this side needed two dimensionals on it. So that is dimensional math. We're doing some dimensional math too. You guys didn't know how much math we were going to be doing tonight. You were like, whoa, it's Monday. I don't know if I can handle the math today. But here we go. Now on this one, of course, these green ones are like the perfect color for, you know, to put on here. So we're going to just throw some of these on here. And again, they don't show up like, you know, super well on camera probably, but it just gives a little bit of something else on here. Really like how this card turned out. This one is awesome and easy, right? So these are easy cards. So we've already got two done, and we're going to roll into our next one here. Let me just make sure, check messages, make sure we're still doing good. Hi Sandra. Oh, I'm glad you like the quilted look. Hi Kathy. It's okay if you're late. It's okay. I'm going to sum up at the end anyway. I always do. I will show you all the cards that we made and I'll sum up, and then if you see something you really love, you can always go back and watch the replay too and just kind of catch what's going on there. So, okay, it's good to see you guys on here. All right, so that's card number 2. We're good with that one. Let us move into our last card already here. My goodness. Now, I don't know what happened in my craft room today, but somehow a little bit of water kind of affected my sentiment here. I probably will stamp this later again and put a new label over top. But we're going to look at this great, beautiful Night of Navy, a little bit of balmy blue, because I had to move in a lighter color. This particular designer series paper is the Sun Prince, and it's very heavy on really dark blue, a lot of blue patterns. I love that one, right? So very rich. And on the opposite side, we've got this kind of gray granite. I believe this is gray granite. Let's see here. Gray granite, yes. Pacific Point, Night of Navy, Starry Sky. So some very deep royal colors here for this last card. And I needed to bring in some balmy blue because I felt like the balmy blue, even though it's not a color that's listed in this paper pack, I felt like it worked here. And this card kit's just really awesome too. But anyway, I feel like the balmy blue worked here to brighten it up. I wanted to make it a little bit lighter and nicer. So again, you're getting a balmy blue. We're going to talk about this ribbon in just a second. This is the brushstroke specialty paper, and I don't know if you can see the sheen on this. It's really cool paper. It's also kind of thin. It's not the thickest paper. And you're also getting a silver, this is probably really shiny, a silver scallop. So again, this time I went with scallop, this layering scallop dies. So something completely different. I try to change up the kits so they're all a little bit different. And your card, your designer paper in your kits may look slightly different too, depending on which section of the designer paper it got cut from. So this one has a little bit of like lighter blue in it. The other one has darker blue. And you're getting some great patterns here. So let me move aside what we do not need. And again, your card kit will make 2. I have a nice base here, so we're going to move in some things here. And whoops, we don't need all of these. We don't need all of these. Wow, there's so many parts and pieces to these kits. Sometimes I get confused when I'm trying to like shuffle through here and show you one. I'm like, whoa, I got so much stuff going on. All right, so this one will also be a 3/4 inch sentiment piece. I feel like there's something on there. And we also have a piece of balmy blue that is just a little bit, so as you can see, if you were to use these just like this, right, they would mat perfectly and beautifully. But we're going to mat them perfectly and beautifully using our punch. So there, you can use your punch and you can mat layers as well. So again, you can go from a 1/2 inch to 3/4. You can go from 3/4 to 1 inch. So those are the 3 sizes for the channels in this particular punch. Okay, so we are going to, before we put this down, this is one where I don't just start gluing down yet. Hold on. We're going to set that aside because we're going to work on this base for a second. We're going to put this beautiful blue designer series paper to the top. And I love the Sun Prince paper. So pretty. All of these papers that I'm working with tonight are retiring. They are available for one more week. And if they sell out before the week is up, then you won't be able to get them. Some of the items are on sale. Make sure, if you haven't checked out the last chance sale, oh my goodness, there's so much good stuff on there. All right, so for this piece, I matted toward the top, so you can see that nice little matting that goes all the way around. And I like the lighter one here and the stripier one down here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of room here, so you can see a little tiny bit of this balmy blue sneaking out here. But the reality is these layers of designer paper, they're not like evenly spaced down through. There's not actually room for that. If you want there to be room though, you can definitely trim them up at home if you want them to be a little bit different. Maybe you don't even want to use them all on one card. That's okay too. All right, so I'm putting these two together, and to bridge the distance between these two 1-inch strips, I'm actually bringing in this ribbon, which happens to be not my favorite ribbon. This is Balmy Blue. This is Balmy Blue double stitched ribbon. This ribbon is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful, right? But it's kind of thick. It's really thick. It's not soft, and you can see from the back that it's beautiful on the front, not so much on the back, right? So if you were to make a bow with this, you're going to have, you're going to come around and you're going to have like, it just doesn't work. It's going to have some of the whites showing, and then it's going to have some of the blue showing, and this is not bow friendly. I don't think this is bow friendly. See, so you'd have to like flip these around and try to get them to show the blue on both sides. So this is a hard ribbon for me to use. I'm not quite sold on it. However, when you use it like this and you actually wrap the ribbon onto your project, that works beautifully. Like, I'm okay with that. I will wrap this right up. So I'm going to just add some adhesive here, and I'm going to catch where my designer papers meet, right? So I'm hiding that seam, and I'm going to flip this over on the back, and I'm going to bring in some tear and tape. Tear and tape is the best tape ever, and it's going to hold these really nicely on the back. Now I want you to know, I was going to talk to you a little bit about, so this is the last week for a lot of things that are retiring. It's also the last week for things that are priced as they are now before the new catalog takes effect. And I actually have a whole list. There are quite a few things, sadly, of course, right? Everything goes up all the time. There's quite a few things that are going up in the new catalog. And by going up, it can be 50 cents. It can be up to $3 on some things. But most items are 50 cents to $1. So it's just going up a little bit. It's not going up a lot, but it is going up. And there's some basic things too. So here is our layer, just like this. So pretty. And we're going to put this on our card front now. Now that we've got the ribbon wrapped to the back, we can add this on to our card front. And so this is where you always want to make sure you've got your card in the right, orientation, where it's going to open. Top is top, bottom is bottom. We've got all those things. And I am putting this down here flat, even though the ribbon wraps, and it does give a little bit of bulk here, but it's not terrible. We can make that work. So here we are working on this. Now these fantastic little scallops are going to go down with some dimensionals. Let's pop some dimensionals on here. And there we go. I did that terribly. That is not centered. Like, I didn't divide this into threes. I have like an obtuse triangle going on, but we're gonna make this work too. So I'm just gonna put this up this way, and then the same thing applies. I'm gonna bring in a dimensional. I'm gonna put it down here off to the side of my silver paper, with the thought that I'm gonna bring this one over and I'm gonna layer it. So I'm not. And you could, right? You could put them on here like this, and just create that layering effect if you wanted to. I kind of like that now that I'm looking at it, but I'm going to stick with my original plan. I'm going to actually off center them. So a little bit of glue, a little bit of dimension here, and we're just going to pop this on here just like this. So they're kind of coming this way. All right, there we go. And I'm pulling sea glass off left and right as I'm touching these cards. They're just, okay. we are going to work on our amazing punching here now with this sentiment, and I'm going back to my, I like this one better. I'm going back to the scallop. So this is the 1-inch paper, and you can see how it fits in the channels here. And then if I take in the next paper, you can see how there is such a big difference. So the channels are just right there to guide you in. And again, if you're not sure, once you hit the back of your punch, you can always flip it over to make sure, yep, you're on the back. That looks nice where I'm going to line it up. But if you're confident, you just go ahead and punch, push that in, and punch. And this is an easy punch. I know that I hear from different crafters and they say, oh man, it's so hard to punch. It's so hard to punch these style punches, right? Where you actually have to squeeze them like this. Like that can be hard to do. I totally understand that. But this kind of punch right here, this is one where it's meant to sit flat on your surface, right? And all you're doing is pushing down, pushing up and down. So that's a much easier punch to be able to handle. And it's going to give you so much variety here. So this is how cute, right? So I'm layering these little scallop edges on the blue and the white, kind of mimicking the scallop edges here on my die cuts. So I like when things kind of matchy up, but it's not all like crazy matchy. This one says, you are my happy place. There's some really great sentiments in here. We didn't go through all of the sentiments in the stamp set here, but there are some really good ones, and they are happy sentiments, right? It says happy labels. So there's no sad ones. If you're looking for sympathy, it's not here. These are good, happy. I love this one. You are my happy place. That's so awesome. Like I said, I'm going to redo my first card because I think maybe I don't know if I like spilled some water or just what happened. But anyway, so happy labels. Life is better with you. We use that one. You're going to be amazing parents. You've got the biggest heart. I'm so happy you were born. There's no one like you. Just a note. I just want to hug you, love you, and miss you. You are my happy place. We've got yay, thank you, and hello. So there, we went through the stamps. So this is all sentiments, which is always good to have on hand, right? You have to have the sentiments. And sometimes you need something more than just like the basic happy birthday, thank you, sympathy, right? I mean, there's basics out there for sure. But when you can mix and match with something like this is awesome. So again, I'm gonna, as my other cards today, I'm putting my dimensional here with a thought that my sentiment's gonna go here. So I'm gonna glue where I need glue, where I know it's gonna hit paper, and I'm gonna take the backing off of here, and I'm just gonna put this on here, and that kind of goes across all of these great little scallopies. I love that so much. And then we're gonna add in a little bit of bling. So again, these are the white ones, and we're just going to put a few on here, add a little bit of texture, just for something totally different, because sometimes I just go totally different. All right, so look at that. Just like that, we are done with our 3 cards. It's amazing. We've got the blue, you are my happy place, some designer paper. We've got the green one, there's no one like you. And then we have the sweet sorbet, I just want to hug you. And this is my quilt card. So I would love to know which one of these cards is your favorite tonight. I'm trying to make sure you can see all of them. There's so many beautiful cards. Now again, you're going to get these card kits in the mail, and you're going to be making 2 of each. So you're going to be able to mix and match, change them up. That's so much fun. Woohoo! All right, Jess likes the blue Art of Principle. I love that so much. Jess, I know you love the blue. That's so awesome. Melissa says the silver circle looks like a moon. It's very shiny. It's from the, hi Patty. Patty likes the blue one. An eclipse. Yes. The silver is actually from a pack that has 3 different colors of silver in it. And I chose the shiniest silver one because the other 2 silvers were a little bit darker, and there's so much navy blue on this card. I wanted to brighten it up. Lori likes the quilt card. That's my favorite too. I love that cheery reddish color with the quilt card. So anyway, to get your card kits this week in the mail, you spend $35 and you get 6 card kits. That's like a really banging deal, right? You're going to use the host code. You are going, if you're spending $50, you're going to get the embellishments for free. And this is the week. This is the last week of the annual catalog for retiring, the last week of the mini catalog for retiring. There will be some things carrying over. Bundles will not carry over. So this is the last week to get your bundles, at the 10% savings. So don't miss out on any of the bundles that you want to get. And then prices going up. I was going to talk a little bit about prices going up. So cardstock will be going up 75 cents. So your basic pack of Balmy Blue cardstock. Cardstock is 75 cents. Designer Series paper will go up 50 cents. And there's, you know, the new catalog ones you can't get now anyway, so it's just for your knowledge. The ink pads and the ink refills are going up $1. Stampin' Blends are going up $1. The markers are going up $5. Now $5 seems like a hike, but it's for 10 markers. So if you do the math, it's like 50 cents a marker, I think, if my math is correct. I did a lot of math tonight. The Memento inks going up 50 cents. The embossing folders are going up $1. Punches are going up $3. Go through the catalog and look at the punches. Do you need any punches before they cost more? The bow punch is amazing. I love the bow punch. The double oval punch is amazing, right? So just check to see. There are punches that don't go with bundles, and if you don't have them yet, now's the time to get them. Save a little bit of money and get your card kits for the week, right? The Take Your Pick products go up a little bit, 25 cents to $3. Storage, the storage units go up $1 to $2. The clear blocks, the stamping blocks, are going to go up 50 cents to $1. So you can kind of get the idea. 50 cents here, $1 here, it all adds up, right? So this is the week to kind of fine tune. If you have questions on like different products and you're like, what's going on with this? You can message me and I will tell you exactly what the price will be going forward. So you can make a best decision. But if you can save a little bit of money this week, do it. Because you know what? In all honesty, when that new catalog comes out, do I have one here? I do. It's over here. When this new catalog comes out next week, you guys aren't going to be thinking about the adhesives and the basic things, right? You're going to be looking at new stamp sets, new dies, new punches, new designer paper, all of the new colors, right? You're going to be looking at all of that. So this is the week to look at, do I need to get some more adhesive? Do I need to get the basic things? Because if you want to do that and then get the card kits, this is the time to do it. So again, let me know if you have questions on that. Michelle loves the blue. You guys, I love that you love the blue so much. That is so awesome. I added that balmy in there just to brighten it too. I was playing with that blue card for a while this afternoon and it was so dark without that balmy and I wanted it to be a little bit lighter. We are in spring, so I wanted to lighten that up. So I'm glad you like the blue one, Michelle. Thank you. All right, so I think that's it. We did this in less than an hour. These were quick and simple cards. Again, no imagery, they're just sentiments and designer paper. So I wanted to show you ways that you can use your designer paper no matter what designer paper you have. It can be any designer paper. And you can just make some really awesome cards with designer paper and a sentiment. It's so simple. So I hope that I've inspired you to do some stamping this week. And also want to remind you, if you're still watching, the April Showers Bring May Flowers card swap is still a thing, right? So you have until the 30th, so that's coming up, to get your card in the mail to me, and then I'm going to mix them all up, and I'm going to pop them back in the mail to you, and I will be sharing pictures of everyone's cards. I have gotten a few in the mail already. I know some more are coming in. So think about making a flower card, and it can be any product. It doesn't have to be Stampin' Up. It can be anything you have with flowers. Just make sure it has at least a flower on it somewhere, and sign the back. We want to know who made it. Send me a self-addressed stamped envelope because I'm going to send you another card back, and you're going to want your address on there and some postage so that you can get your swap card. So if you guys have questions on any of those things, let me know. I hope you guys are thinking about making some beautiful flower cards. I can't wait to see all the rest of them coming in. Kathy says she likes the old olive and gray. I like that one too. I really like that one too. To be honest, I think the blue one's my least favorite. So when you guys say you like the blue one, I'm like, sweet, because that one's at the end of my list. So anyway, all right, that is it. I am so happy to be able to share this inspiration with you. I will be back on Thursday for my Thursday at 3. We'll do a fun card, something that everyone's been doing and I haven't tried yet. So I still have to have a little bit of play with paper in my craft room this week. And of course on Wednesday, something over here is going to be color swapped. I am going to color swap it out. So make sure you pop over to Positive Paper Crafters on Wednesday so you can vote for your favorite. All right, everyone, that's it from me. Have a great evening. And until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye, everybody.